Welcome to the debut episode of the You Got It podcast with me, Dapwell and Lakutis.
What's up?
We're live at the Red Bull Studios commune, some sort of weird commune that Red Bull built on 18th Street and 7th Avenue. It's really fun.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, they have a lot of Quadro brand vodka, 5 flavors of Red Bull, 2 different non-sugar varieties of Red Bull.
I'm holding a cube of vodka right now.
It's not even playing right now. And a lot of rock candy.
If I threw this shit at the window right now, that shit would be like, oh, shit.
Then we'd be like the last episode of You Got It podcast. You listen to podcasts ever? How many podcasts have you maybe ever heard in total?
I think probably when you or like the kid Miro the other day at the thing explained to me what a podcast was, that was the first time I even really understood what it was.
So
it's
dozens.
Like, yeah, like a million. Like I listen to 10 to 20 podcasts.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, you know, podcast. First of all, I don't like the name because it's tied into like a specific piece of hardware.
That's what fucked me up. Like, I don't know an iPod, so whatever.
But it's just literally an MP3 of people talking. Suddenly, was called a podcast.
Yeah, now that
that's what turned me off to him till like a year ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't deal with whatever that is.
It's like I need to have like gear and shit, like
a little hub.
That. Yeah, I don't want to buy a special thing.
People are super into them though, because me and my brother have a podcast, and I was like, oh, I don't know who would listen to this, and thousands of people listen to it and rate them on like iTunes
because they're on iTunes and shit.
Yeah, and and like people walk around listening to that shit. Like people used to walk around listening to music, like on the train and going to work. And I think that's mad weird.
I mean, when I was on tour, when we were on tour and shit, I was always wishing that we could listen to talk radio and shit. But like Victor is like an animal and wouldn't let us listen to anything but fucking music and shit. I hate that shit. I'd rather listen to people just.
Oh man, 7 hours of rap radio in a fucking van on your way to rap and dance is fucking a nightmare.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
Especially considering they'll only play 7 joints in various configurations on any radio station.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't, I don't know why you're listening to this if you don't know who either of us are, but for those of you who don't know, my real name is Ashok Kundabolu, my government name that I did not get to choose, and my fake name is Datwell. I was a hype man in the rap group That's Racist, but I was really a backup dancer / roadie / groupie on those lonely nights. And that group, we broke up for undisclosed reasons last year, and I've spent a year doing making way less money, living off of that money, fake DJing on iPads, doing this radio show, doing some comedy shit with my brother Hari Kundabolu, who will be on David Letterman on the 25th of March. Ow. And Lakutis, tell him who you is.
I'm a rapper. My name is Lakutis, aka Skeleton, aka Alexi Weintraub. I'm gonna make a radio show for you now.
We know each other from the mean streets of New York City.
Natives.
Yeah, we both went to many advanced graduate school programs, so we met each other in various labs throughout the city.
Yeah, we would just see each other in the lab and be like, shit, and like chink test tubes or whatever the fuck.
I think you met Clink.
Yeah.
I was like, what? This
oh yeah, my bad.
This immediately took a horrible time.
Oh man.
But yeah, you are the rapper Lakutis now, which is, you know, it's weird because I was with you when you came up with that name, and I was like, wow, it's gonna be weird knowing my friend who I call Lex or Lexi as this made up name Lakutis. Within 2 days, I was like, okay, this is completely natural to me now, calling this dude some shit literally from Star Trek. Like I have no problem being like, oh, my boy Lakutis is coming.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to me too, man.
How you feel? Like I remember, right? Like after a few of your joints got posted online, like 2 years ago, you're like, well, now I'm Lakutis and I can't change it. Yeah. You were a little like, fuck about it. How do you feel now?
I mean, I was kind of relieved too because I didn't want to have to make a name up, and I was like, it was like a placeholder name, and then I was just like, when the DR shit came out. And it was popular.
Right. You recorded some shit like, what do you want to put on the MP3 file?
Yeah, like, that's what happened. We were in the studio. They're like, what do you want me to call it? I just made that shit up. And then, so it's too late now.
The rest is history, dog. Your album came out a couple weeks ago, right? Your debut album.
Yeah, I think like the 13th.
3 Seashells.
3 Seashells.
Yeah, a long time coming. How do you did okay. It's doing pretty good. People liked it. How do you feel about it?
It's doing pretty okay, man. Nah, I feel all right. I don't know. I got a bunch of reviews, and Complex premiered it. Shout out to them.
It took a long time for it to, like, you know, it was like your first album was probably like a year and a half of shit that you had kicking around, like song ideas and stuff like that. Nah. Are you like, when you listen back on the album, are you like,
oh yeah, like, the thing about that is like, nah, I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, it was better. I put out that EP a couple years ago, and I really didn't, like, never recorded a song, and that was mad weird. And then this time I sort of knew how to, like, and I was like, oh, I could just do whatever I want. Right. So I did, and it was mad weird, but I guess people fuck with it.
Right. Scraping together like studio time and shit. I imagine that process too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because everybody was doing it like on the strength pretty much, and it's just like. Yeah, it's easier. Like, I was mad jealous when I'd see musicians when they go in and it's like, yeah, so we're going in for like 12 hours and we're just gonna like see what happens. And then I'd be coming in for like 2-3 hours at a time, like here and there, trying to like.
You would come in for 30 seconds longer than the length of the song you were recording. Yeah, it's the only time you were allowed.
I would come in for like 20 minutes and I'd have to get them to slow down the recording to make it fit the song. I'd be like, that's stupid.
But yeah, I mean, we were talking about when the shit came out, like the idea of like, you know, any if you own a computer, you're a rapper or a producer or both, whatever you want to be.
If you're a computer, you're whatever you want.
Yeah, if you're a computer, you do whatever you want. And but like, you know, in terms of like being a rapper in a viable way and like getting booked and making some money, one of the things that helps is getting reviewed or written about by like certain publications that lend you legitimacy.
So they tell me.
So to speak. So they say.
So to speak.
And one of the things was getting a Pitchfork review, the music website Pitchfork.
Yeah.
So you were like, damn, am I going to get this Pitchfork review? Let's see what happens. And then you got one.
I was seeing if anyone was going to review my thing. And
you got a 6.7, which is pretty good.
That's good, right?
Yeah, anything below 6 is like, whoa.
My shit was so weird. I was like, I don't know. This was not made for music journalists.
Right. Or for human people to listen to.
Or for human consumption.
So you got a 6.7, which is pretty good, but the actual review itself, like the words, were a little strange. There's some weird stuff in there.
It's funny because the number is like better than the middle number, I guess, which would technically be. Yeah, but then the stuff they say sounds like they don't
Didn't feel like it corresponded with a pretty good review. Yeah, I've got a couple choice passages here. It starts off like this. Read anything about Washington Heights, anything of the many available. Read anything about Washington Heights, Bread MC, and Das Racist RIP affiliate Lakutis, Alexi Weintraub. And one word seems to pop up with alarming regularity. Dirtbag. Known more for his party animal persona than this rapping, he certainly looks the part, like the gold-toothed, frequently shirtless offspring of Ted Nugent.
That's cool, except that guy's a douchebag.
Yeah, Ted Nugent's.
I like all of that except for the Ted Nugent shit. Rollins would have been cool.
Yeah, Rollins would have been alright. You know. So you're being called here a dirtbag and a party animal, which is awesome.
Yeah, which is cool. I fuck with that.
But this is a little later on. But if you're coming to Three Seashells looking for bars, it's best to look elsewhere. Lakutis isn't big on coherent content, favoring a sort of stream of consciousness approach to his rhyming. Granted, Three Seashells doesn't stray too far from your run-of-the-mill rap hedonism, but his trademark wisecracking is also present, referring to himself at one point as Tombstone Pizza Pierre.
So I think he listened to that one song where in the first 2 seconds I said Tombstone Pizza Pierre, I think.
Right off the bat, if you're coming to the Three Seashells looking for bars, if you're coming to listen to good rap music, don't listen to this
don't
album.
Listen to this, yeah.
Basically, he's saying you can't rap.
I can't rap, but I'm like Ted Nugent.
You're like Ted Nugent, and you're a dirtbag, and you like to drink alcohol with people, but you can't rap.
I thought I had bars. I tweeted that was the only thing I think that was the only thing I was kind of upset about was that he said I didn't have bars. He said
you're not good at doing the thing
I was
that
like,
you do.
all right, Rock Marciano is reviewing my album for Pitchfork, and he doesn't think I lived up to it. All right.
Yeah. I mean, the stream of consciousness is one point. somewhat. You know, I mean, it's not the stream of consciousness. A lot of stuff gets labeled that when it's weird.
I'm not gonna. What I think if you listen to it, I'm not gonna say what I said that was cool, but I think I said some cool clever shit on the album.
I agree. But it goes on. Other times he waxes Rust Cole, the McConaughey character on True Detective.
I'm pretty happy about that.
Like on Jesus Piece. Look at the fuck have you done? Made a world where I'm not gonna read that. It's embarrassing. It's weird. Oh, it felt really weird. Lakutis' real strong suit is the way he raps, which is funny. Punctuating words with a visceral intensity, usually reserved for the frontman of a hardcore band. His flow almost functioning as a percussive element. Classic music writing nonsense there. Yeah. So
I scream real loud. I rap. When I rap, I scream real loud.
But that last line is so like I'm writing words about sounds.
Yeah.
His flow almost functioning as a percussive element. I've written a few like album reviews.
That's what rap is.
Yeah.
What?
I've written a few music reviews, like usually for money for things, and it's embarrassing shit. Like I'm reading it. I read back on my stuff and I'm like, ugh. You know, when you're actually describing the songs in the review, it's always embarrassing for the most part. With rap music,
you can't really understand the shit and write about it.
Right.
You can't write what you understand about the music.
Like if you're writing about like like an album in the context of like what it means or. For like, female rap or like New York rap or something like that, that then you can do. But if you're actually writing,
you gotta be on acid to be like when people like for wine, like people that talk about wine and they're like, this is very like woodsy and kind of like dark and shit. It's like that shit's made up. So you're just assigning.
You're drinking
words.
wine and you have to now use words to talk about it. The last paragraph is this. The album feels a little rushed, and for such a short ride, 12 tracks, only 3 of which scrape the 3-minute mark, including 2 brief in-jokes masquerading as skits. Very on point.
That's funny but I mean, they weren't even in-jokes. No, they didn't make any sense when I did them.
I mean, they kind of were, though. There's even people laughing around you in one of the
But it's not like they know anything that the person who's listening to the album, like, nobody knew what that was when I did it.
Nah. He got dirt on you, dog. You don't be fucking scared.
You're right.
There's 1 or 2 too many missed targets, coupled with Lakutis' nagging need to freak out the squares at nearly every turn. 3 seashells is more promising than anything else.
What he's saying is he got freaked out by...
What he's saying is he didn't like it at all.
Yeah, he didn't like it at all.
But he still gave you a fairly flattering review and score.
Which I guess is cool.
Which is cool.
Which is good.
He nailed it.
Yeah.
Zach Kelly, congratulations. You fucking nailed it. You solved True Detective.
Because everybody just looks at the numbers anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
The numbers I understand. The decimal places, come on. What's the difference between a six? Sit down and explain to me what the difference between a 6.5 and a 6.7 is. What you made that call on.
Right.
And I'll give you a Mary Jane hard candy.
But I bet if I got a 7 or over, he would have had to write that it was good.
Yeah, then you would have to be like, this dude got
so
bars.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
yeah, he'd have to start a paragraph with like caps like bars, bars galore on this track.
Next time.
Yeah, you need to get triple caps like bars, and you made it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been sitting here like fingering a bloody wound on my fucking calf.
What happened to your calf, dog?
My cat. I have 2 cats. You have 1 cat. And
my cat's not a dick though, I guess.
My cat's young. It's still a kitten.
Yeah, I'm just kidding,
it's like stretching. And it's like, oh, this guy's standing up. Let me dig my nails into his body and just stretch.
You cut their nails?
Nah.
That helps.
I don't. One of them won't take it. One of them won't let me touch.
Oh yeah, they'll fucking. They don't like that shit. Yeah,
they will not let me touch his toes.
I had to get it. That's the thing. You got to get them used to it when they're young.
One of them. I touch. One of them's a dude. One of them's a chick. The one that's a dude, Beaky, lets me like lets me rub it like anywhere. Like I like, a couple times I was like, because I don't know it's even hard to tell what its dick is.
What its dick is
they recede in,
its
right?
dick is mostly inside.
It's inside.
So if you're worried about touching your cat's dick,
couple of times, I'm not worried. I was just like, "Is this what's going on?"
You'll know when you see your cat's dick because that shit looks like a weird red spike. It comes out.
Okay, so maybe I've never seen his dick because a couple times I tapped that thing just to see.
What?
It was like laying backwards next to me, and it was like 2 a.m. and I was sleeping. And I was like, "Let me tap this cat's dick."
That's like his foreskin. That's
damn.
like your cat. Yeah,
That's so cool.
Your cat's dick is like inside.
Yeah,
unless it gets a boner. One time,
I need to play the flute, and then that shit'll come out.
yeah. And then you can harvest the. Then
I'll fulfill the promise of my ancestors. I got you.
Then you guys will both watch Death Becomes Her on HBO Go.
But like, I mean, cats. I never thought I'd own a cat. I never really wanted to. I had a dog growing up, and I adore dogs. Like, I see dogs on the street, and I fucking
because they're actually cool.
Yeah, and they're useful.
Yeah,
you know,
they could like catch you a squirrel
to boil and eat. But I don't know. Like, I'm embarrassed to tell like other men that I have cats because I don't know. It's stupid. I know, but I'm like I find it like it's embarrassing.
To any demographic.
No, if I'm with like 3 or 4 dudes or whatever, like since I do the radio show and it's primarily a rap radio show, and we're hanging out after.
Cool, man. Tyler, the creator, loves cats. It's fine now.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything goes now.
That's true. Anything does
in
go.
this postmodern age.
Yeah, but I do find. I don't know. A lot of people. I ask a lot of people about pets, and people love cats and they're cute. But I was talking.
I feel like people don't like cats when I talk to them. I used to not like cats, but then I got one, and now I'm like,
yeah. It takes meeting a few nice ones.
It's I think it's mostly about the owners. Like if the owner fucks the cat up,
or ignores.
Of course, the cat sucks. Like of course, it makes the cat stink.
Right. Like just like
of course your house stinks if you have a cat if you never like clean the shit or whatever.
Like I don't like that. Like if you're in 3rd grade, like I don't like this emotionally abused kid who is always slapping me and poking me because his father does that to him. I don't like him.
Yeah.
That was weird. I don't know what the point of that was. But
you're right.
I was talking to the journalist Mary H.K. Choi about cats, and she kind of said something that I've heard a lot of people say. She writes for like everything, Wired, MTV Style,
no doubt.
Yeah, mad cool. Used to be like the editor at like I think XXL.
Oh, so we love you, dog. Right about
love you, baby. She was talking about the idea of like I love cats, but I would never want to keep pets because when I'm in my house, like I want to keep the outside, keep the outside out.
She doesn't want pets in her house.
She doesn't like the idea of the outside coming in. You know what I mean?
What's the outside?
I don't.
Like
I mean,
animals, like
animals, and I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing when she want to live in like a clean room. Like that's a made up.
I think it's a bit of distinction, but I think essentially it boils down to like
you don't want a cat shitting in your
shitting
house.
inside of your house.
I mean, you could get a dog and teach it to shit outside.
Yeah, or get your cat to shit in the toilet, but then you roll up in the toilet to piss and there's cat shit.
Was she not? She's not gonna have a kid because the kid's gonna shit in the house too. The kid's gonna shit all over the place.
But you have the biological. You'll suddenly your brain will be like, oh, I love my kid. That's one of the reasons why, like, I don't plan on having children, but one of my fears is like, what if my kid sucks? Is the biological impulse to love your child enough to override having a shitty kid?
There's definitely some cool people that have gotten fucked up by having shitty kids.
Whack kids. Like, am I going to be able to lie to myself and be like, I love my son who listens to fucking Sublime and shit and like Wiz Khalifa? Am I going to love that kid? Because he's my kid? Or am I going to be like, fuck, my kid sucks and I spent 12 years mad money raising him and he sucks and I'm fucked?
No way. You're just gonna take an eyedropper and poison him while he's sleeping.
Yeah. He's dead, man. I'm gonna make him shit in a box in the corner of the house.
There's no point in crying over spilled milk, dog.
Yeah.
You just gotta take care of business.
Yeah.
House of Cards, that shit. Be out.
Kakash. Speaking of House of Cards, this normcore thing sweeping the. I'm gonna try to make the trademark of our show nonsense segues. So that's the first one. Speaking of House of Cards, this normcore has gone out of control. For those of you who don't know what normcore is, it's a New York Magazine article written maybe a month ago, 3 weeks ago, about this idea that kids are wearing articles of clothing associated with like normal people who are not involved in fashion, like Patagonia fleeces and curved brim snapback hats and stuff like that.
I mean, that article was
New Balance shoes.
They said
khakis.
A lot of shit about like Dev Hines or whatever.
Right. And I'm like, who
doesn't dress that regular?
I'm saying, which she took some offense to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't think wearing like leather, like giant leather caps and like, Barry Bonds earrings with dangling crosses is really, the same thing as like Dockers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know what? Overall,
I love that shit.
And a lot of the shit around the normcore was like, why is New York Magazine, respected, publication, wasting all the space on it? But outside of that, the idea of normcore I thought was really funny and lampooned a lot of like, I guess the idiocy and ridiculousness of fashion and, choosing to express yourself through what you wear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I get it, and I do care a lot about how I dress and stuff, and I understand it. But it's like when people say like one of the best ways of understanding someone's culture is to eat their food. I'm like, oh, isn't that convenient, white guy? The best way to understand Chinese people is eating delicious Chinese food, not learning Chinese and going to China and understanding the
best
culture.
way to understand the people is to fuck all their women.
Yeah, exactly. It's sex tourism and eating delicious food. That's fucking convenient, you fucking asshole.
That's ill. I figured it out.
But now that we've shit on Normcore, we both are we're getting, for years, kind of doing some of the things involved in this ridiculous Normcore idea. Like,
I've been trying to dress more regular because it's funny because then like when you do shit that's weird, people are like, oh, like if you dress like a freak, people are like, yeah,
right. Oh, okay, son.
Yeah,
you're wearing some like outrageous shit or whatever.
Or I don't know. It's people just find any way to judge you, so that's like one less way for them to get away
to take
with
that
it,
out.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't change your behavior, which is abnormal at best. Yeah,
that's way cooler. You just dress real regular, so everyone's like, oh, it's a regular white dude or whatever, and then
like I'm saying right now, I'm looking at you. You're wearing a black Patagonia fleece, tight-ass black sweatpants, New Balances with the socks visible, and a Zabar's fucking curved brim cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
I'm going jogging.
Upper West Side jogger.
I'm taking my kid to soccer practice.
That's like regular dude who's like, you can see his boner on the bench at Riverside Park. Like, dude,
I'm training boxing.
Pick up your kids. Yeah. How's that working out for you?
It's cool, man. I'm like trying to dress like, like Upper West Side Jew or like a wasp. And now like dressing, like I realize like the more I dress like a wasp, like all these like 30, 40-year-old women look at me on the train now. Because now
you're a viable candidate.
Yeah, now I look like husband material or whatever. Right. Like I probably work,
You're not betraying your socioeconomic status in any way.
Yeah, which is bad funny because I'm like a broke ass rapper, whatever.
You're not giving away the fact that you don't hate black people by anything you're wearing, so you might be a suitable candidate.
She thinks it's cool. We're gonna be in bed and she's gonna start shitting on black people, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, sure."
Of course, it is an outrage she was allowed into the club. I've been wearing like for a couple of years since DR. I've been getting into like jumpsuits and matching shirt combinations and shit. Right now, I'm wearing like a Highland brand like matching.
Shout out to our girl at Highland,
Kramer and Lizzie. A maroon sweatsuit, and I noticed when I started wearing these matching things that I get like checked out by men and women alike.
What do you think that means? Yeah, you're telling me like
they're meaning to check out like the whole like damn, like when you look at like I'm a man and I'm heterosexual, I'll look at women up and down often to see the different parts of their body, so you scan them. I'm getting scanned by dudes like left and right on the train. Like by the time I get off the train, like a third of the men on the train will have done the full body scan on me. It's weird. It's another one of those things where I'm like,
what do you think that's about?
I think
because I have my theory. I want to hear what you think.
Because it's just the clothes match, and people don't normally wear like matching.
But like, why do you think that intrigues them so much?
I think you're just naturally the continuity of the outfit draws. Yeah. They scan you all the way down. It's because it's like a single piece. This is
my theory about a lot of white dudes, about a lot of really normal white dudes. Like especially like with clothes. Like if they're looking at you do something that's weird, it's just like that was like 2 years where their dad like shit on them for wearing like some wild shit, and you're just like, you're a bitch. You look like a fucking
right.
You know what I'm saying?
You are big fucking rap star.
They had to get like brainwashed into dressing like normal white
or like
America,
guilted into it.
Yeah, guilted into it. So then when they see somebody that's not doing that, they gotta like figure out why your life is worse to like to like feel okay about why they have to like press their fucking pants or whatever the fuck.
Right. Damn, son, you have some serious deep-seated issues.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got some serious problems that you need to work on.
Yeah,
no doubt. We'd like to thank Quadro Vodka, by the way.
I'm holding
our unofficial sponsor.
I'm holding a cube of y'all vodka right now. I can't even see, dog.
You getting twisted on that Quadro.
I can't feel my face.
Moving on to something altogether different. More allegations against celebrity mediocre at best photographer Terry Richardson have come out. An anonymous Reddit commenter, who was later revealed to be a model named Charlotte Waters, was commenting on Reddit and was talking, told her story. And here's a passage from what she said. Waters was already naked and the shoot was well underway and proceeding normally when Richardson began to cross the line. As Waters says, he comes over and asks me to hold the top of his jeans while he takes pictures pointing down. At this moment, things were starting to go in a direction that wasn't good, but for some reason, I still had a lot of trust in whatever he told me to do, so I just did it. She continues. But then he had me unbutton his pants and he took his penis out and it was all completely downhill from there. She goes on to talk about having to perform like sex acts on him and stuff like that. Richardson's fame and industry clout, the whole thing is like he's like the celebrity photographer, probably the most recognized by name photographer, maybe in the world, definitely in America right now, especially amongst young people.
Damn.
His makes it like these models trying to come up in the game makes them hesitant, to be prudes and stuff, because his game is to be like, come on, we're just having fun. He insists these people call him Uncle Terry.
Whoa.
Who work with him and shit like that. He has his friends come and be his photo assistants, people who just come and stand around. He's, according to these accounts, he's had models perform sex acts on his friends,
right? Who
afterwards, are laughing and making jokes about this shit. Like they've done it a million times before, which they have.
He's a piece of shit, right?
He's a fucking piece of shit. And that's one thing. There's a ton of pieces of shit. You know what I mean? Everyone's a piece of shit. The difference is, though, like this guy has recently done photo shoots with Rihanna, Beyonce, Madonna. He did a photo shoot with Obama. Recently, Lena Dunham, who caught some flack for it. Yeah. So, he's rich and successful and famous.
That's cool that people are getting shit then for working with him, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like celebrities are getting forced into, Lady Gaga's like his boy.
Right.
So, it's some real, I don't know, it's just some gross shit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He's a piece of shit. And I feel like it's like True Detective. It's like it's like Terry Richardson's fucking Carcosa shaking hands with fucking George W. Bush, and killing girls on VHS cassette. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a piece of shit. That being said, Terry Richardson finally released a statement, extremely evasive, doesn't acknowledge any of the accusations against him, and it includes this. When I moved to New York in 1990 to take pictures, a lot of my work was a documentation of my life in the East Village. It was gritty, transgressive, and the aesthetic broke with the well-lit, polished fashion images of the time. My first big campaign, shot in 1994, was a provocative picture of a couple embracing in a bar. It was a shocking image for its time, and the first instance of a photograph of this nature that was used in a major fashion advertisement. Not only is it evasive, it's incredibly self-congratulatory and irrelevant to, what he was supposed to be addressing in the statement. So Terry Richardson gets a gas face. Fuck you, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, recently we were talking about, to tie this into, like visibility and stuff like that. I was talking about, there's these Orthodox Jewish people, I live in South Williamsburg, who own a lot of properties and are trying to purchase my building from my landlord who bought it in the 80s. So, they're staking out my house sometimes in a van, double parked, and just running up on guests and people who live there trying to get the number of their landlord so they can presumably buy my building and kick me out and turn it into a hotel or a condo. Yeah. So I'm like, why would I help you do that? Are you out of your mind? So, I was talking about that, but I wasn't, I was just happened to mention the Orthodox Jews. And you were like, you're Jewish. You were just like, it's kind of this thing you were saying about how there has to be this visibility for these Jewish Orthodox Jews who do that to ply their trade and stuff like that. So people are like, there you go, these money grubbing Jews, blah blah blah. But the people with the real money, the old money, these wasps, they don't have to be visible or flaunt their money or work for their money. Yeah. They're invisible somewhere, fucking in secret societies, doing God knows what. Right. And becoming president and the head of the Treasury Department and working at Goldman Sachs and shit.
They're in the Hamptons. They're very red. They're sailing and shit. They have very good genes. They do that well into their 70s probably.
Right. Get a crispy red skin going.
Yeah, they stay crispy. Yeah. They stay spanky.
They stay fucking spanky as shit. But I mean, all I'm saying is this. I don't know the legality and shit, but I mean, Terry Richardson should be. I wouldn't feel bad if Terry Richardson was kidnapped, tortured, and executed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel bad if that happened. Is all I'm saying. He's a real piece of shit, and that these celebrities don't call this motherfucker out. And, you know, like I said, maybe you can plead some ignorance. I'm sure these people are all in a ridiculous bubble, obviously. Especially those people I read are in this bubble. But come on, you know what I mean?
Who, like the celebrity?
Rihanna, Beyonce, Gwen Stefani, Madonna, Obama. This is just a handful of people he work with that I pulled out.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's like you want to be rich. So, like, what are you going to do? Start an argument every time someone puts you in a room with another famous rich guy? Like,
yeah, you don't want to get kicked out the club.
Right.
Same shit.
Nobody trying to get kicked out the club.
Nobody's trying to get kicked out.
No wifing in the club, dog.
Speaking of, you know, and like getting kicked out the club, this is another. There's going to be a lot of nonsense segues and awkward failed segues like this. Speaking of getting kicked out the club, I was reading this thing, you know, I sent you about T-Pain.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I always like T-Pain, man. I like these joints.
He always seemed like a nice guy too. Like whatever.
I'm in love with The Stripper is one of my favorite songs all the time. Buy You a Drink is mad good.
Buy You a Drink is still like that. Still gets stuck in my head all the time.
Great song. He was the first to do that. Really like bring that auto-tune into that type of music and shit. Shout out to Cher, that joint, Believe in Love.
Yeah,
it's fucking ill shit. But T-Pain, you know, his career fell off and shit like that, and he kind of stopped making music for years. So you're like, oh, maybe it's just because the type of music he makes isn't popular anymore. But then there was this New Yorker profile about him that I sent you, and I got a couple passages from that. It's really really sad. Here's one of the passages. Even at the height of his celebrity, he never acted tough or particularly cool. His trademark accessories were a giant top hat and Oakley sunglasses that made him look like a snowboarder. Lately, T-Pain has been doing something even more unorthodox in hip-hop, telling sad stories in public about what it felt like when everyone, including some of his fellow artists, started treating him like a joke. Though most music fans still remember T-Pain's big hits, most notably the slinky and infectious Buy You a Drink. By his fourth album, Revolver, in 2011, I have never heard of that album.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Nobody
heard that shit.
Nah, yeah. It's news to me. He had come to be seen as an uncool novelty act. A goofy-looking dork who rode to fame with a production gimmick that not only sounded corny, but concealed his true lack of singing ability. Damn, son. Anyway, going on. In 2009, Jay-Z released a hit single called DOA, Death of Autotune. Yeah. Not even a good song. Intended to draw a line between so-called real hip-hop and poppy soft stuff.
Only slightly. Jay-Z. Yeah. Also, that DOA only slightly better than Buy You a Drink.
Yeah. Intended to draw a line between so-called real hip-hop, poppy salsa, inspired fans to chant "fuck T-Pain" during live performances. That same year, Christina Aguilera, of all people, was photographed wearing a T-shirt that said, "Auto-tune is for pussies." I mean, she doesn't dress herself. Someone did that. Some other idiot stylist person gave her that shirt. The comedy rap group The Lonely Island featured T-Pain on their song "I'm on a Boat," performing more or less as a parody of himself. The song was nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
When asked about the honor on the red carpet, T-Pain admitted it was kind of weird that his music didn't get nominated, but a quote mockery of the art did.
Although that "I'm on a Boat" shit is a good song.
I haven't really heard it. It's the chorus like, "I'm on a boat."
Yeah, it's like, "Never thought I'd be on a boat, great blue watery road."
Oh shit, that sounds mad good.
It's good. It's like a T-Pain song. Who cares?
Damn. And finally, and this is the saddest part. In an interview this past January with DJ Vlad, who the New Yorker article describes as a popular YouTube channel, Vlad TV is sort of like rap's Larry King Live. For you white people, they're like, for our audience, here's who he is.
I actually never watched that shit, but then I watched T-Pain's one. And I guess that dude's Russian, so
yeah,
big up.
Big up. T-Pain talked about being brought in as a consultant during the recordings of 808 and Heartbreak. At one point during this session, Kanye wrote a song about how dumb all of T-Pain's ideas were while he's in the room. He then proceeded, T-Pain said, to make everybody in the studio join with him to sing "T-Pain shit is weak." In the same interview, T-Pain recalled encountering Future's brother at a Thanksgiving fundraiser, telling him he was eager to collaborate with Future. Future also uses a similar sort of auto effect and shit.
Yeah,
and is like,
he does the same shit.
Is number one right now.
Right.
But instead of offering to pass on the message, the guy looked at T-Pain and said to him, "My brother would never fucking work it with you. Fuck you and everything that you stand for. Says Future's fucking brother to T-Pain, who was surely like dressed like a dork and was smiling and being like a nice guy.
Right.
What the fuck, Future's brother? Come on, man. Just be like, yeah.
I mean,
don't tell your brother.
I mean,
obviously don't tell Future. You're not gonna work with T-Pain, but don't fucking say fuck you.
I'm upset. I'm more upset about Kanye because it's like T-Pain's brother. I mean, T-Pain's
Kanye,
brother.
you made a whole album that everyone talks about as this great, you know, like intimate
it's like who
album.
But it's just like if you really did that, like who are you trying to stunt for?
Yeah, you're just being me.
You're just being a dickhead
for yourself.
You're not. Who are you winning points with? Like you're already the most famous dude in the world or whatever. Who you think he's probably the most famous dude in the world, right?
Kanye, yeah.
But he has to stunt on T-Pain?
Yeah. Jesus
T-Pain
Christ.
seems like a real dude is what I got out of that article.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I read
guy.
another profile of it a while ago. He's like been married to the same woman since he was like 19. He's from Tallahassee. He's just a regular fat motherfucker who hit on this weird, cool effect.
He didn't let that shit get to his head.
He was 20 years old when he put out that I'm in love with a stripper.
That's another thing that fucks me up is like, because you know,
if you're a nice regular guy, you'll get destroyed.
If he had been an asshole, or if he had been some kind of scary, dude,
or some reticent to say anything real to people,
nobody would have said shit. But because he seems like a nice dude, and he's
they're
not
like weakness. He's weak. He's a real man.
People think that nice people are weak. That's
you got to be a certain way when you come up. Illuminati. It all ties back to fucking that True Detective Carcosa, Terry Richardson asshole.
We're in Carcosa. Time is a flat circle.
And the last paragraph is he stopped making music. He thought he was a trash artist. Instead, it fucked him up.
That shit makes me so
sad.
And
he's coming back now with the album, and it's called Stoicville. And the last paragraph, he describes why he called it that. Stoicville, T-Pain says, is where everybody is stoic, where nobody has emotions. You don't get shit from anybody in Stoicville. You don't get people saying or doing fucked up shit to you. Everybody's just stoic. That's not quite what stoicism is, but nobody has emotions and everybody minds their own fucking business. That's the town for me. That's where I want to live. It sounds like when a young like 5-year-old kid's bullied by someone named Timmy, you know, and you ask, you know, he goes home and his dad's like, you know, where do you want to, you know, he's asking his kid, where do you want to live? And the kid's like, I want to live in no Timmyville where no Timmys are allowed. That's like basically what he would say.
He's sad because people hurt his feelings. Yeah. That's fucked up.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, honestly, it's like I don't know. He should make music or whatever, but like fame is what it is, I guess. Like he should just take his money.
Take the money.
And just get your real friends and hang out with them. And just like, you know what I'm saying? Like don't.
But man, you know,
you don't have to be where Future's brother is at.
But he was on top. He was like on top of the shit.
Yeah.
And now, you know, like people were. He didn't just, you know, fall out of fat. It wasn't like Rich Boy where he just stopped being popular.
Right.
People were. He became
like
a joke.
It was a fucked up thing that they did to him.
Must be so hurtful to be an international joke.
But it's stupid and it's hypocritical because people do all the same things now. But if the person is somebody who you aren't. Who you are afraid of, or like who you wouldn't say some bullshit to.
Just give some money to a couple boys and girls clubs and shit and fuck all these assholes.
Yeah. Those people aren't your friend. You know what? T-Pain. Those people that make fun of you are not your friends.
Papa.
Anyone who beats you up is not your friend.
Papa. So this is the first episode. We're coming live from the Red Bull studio.
I fuck with you, T-Pain. I fuck with you.
We fuck with T-Pain live at the Rebel studio on 18th and 7th. The show's going to work like this. We got a rough format. We talk about the hard-hitting issues which we've already done in the first half. The second half, I figure we kind of improvise on a set of loose scenarios. So we're going to attempt that now, and this will typically be the second half of the show. So let's get into it. Scenario 1, Matthew McConaughey trying to bum a cigarette from an old man.
Hey there, cowboy. Let me get some of that there stogie you got there. Hoo yeah.
What is it that you want? I don't know why the old guy's Jewish. I knew it was gonna veer into old Jew. All right, that one. Scenario 1 complete. Scenario number 2. A child locked in a candy store with a talking dog. You be the talking dog.
I'll be the dog?
Yeah.
All right, we out.
I'm a baby. I'm in the candy store eating malted balls.
You can't have any candy, young man.
I don't know how to open the plastic safety part of the top of the malted balls.
I'm a dog. You cannot have any of those balls of which you speak.
The dog doesn't have hands to open the malted ball safety top of the container thing, and I'm a baby who's unable to do it myself.
All right. Scenario number 3. A white father talking to his white daughter's Indian boyfriend who has recently arrived in the country and doesn't know anything about American culture.
I'm not doing that in any accent.
I'm obviously doing that.
Yeah. All right, cool.
All right.
Wait, I'm lecturing you about some shit?
You're just a white dad, an Indian boyfriend of his daughter sitting on the couch waiting for her to come down. Awkward conversation.
Yeah. So where are you? Where are you from?
My family is from Andhra Pradesh, which is a state in South India.
So you speak Indian?
Yeah, I do. There are many languages in India. And my family, we speak something called Telugu. It's the language we speak.
Well,
yeah.
I tell you, you got a real fun look. Where do you think I can get a pair of shoes like that?
These are Bata sandals. I got them from India. I've been told not to wear sandals in New York, so I'm stopping soon.
Fantastic, but listen, my daughter Samantha is a very sensitive girl, and if you fucking touch her, you piece of shit. Right? He'd say some shit like that.
Then I'd be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. All right, sick. An old man denying he stole a banana. I'll be the bodega guy.
CSM.
Put down that banana, old man.
Oh, I'm an old
man. I saw you grabbing that banana, sir.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Please open up your jacket.
No, there's
Please I won't call the police if you just fucking open your jacket and take out the banana.
There's no produce in there, sir.
Sir, do you know where you are right now? You're in my store and you took a banana from me. You're taking money out of my children's mouths.
I couldn't bear to live with something like that.
Sick. And finally, I wrote this little song for a cash checking company I made up. When you all fucked up and you need some dough, you need to call this number. That's for sure. I said fuck. I said fuck. So that is the conclusion of the first You Got It podcast live from the Rebel Studios. Let us know if you liked it. I'm at Dapwell on Twitter, dapwell@gmail.com. And you are?
I'm LAKUTIS on Twitter. So and Instagram.
So if you want to tell us if you like this, and we should keep doing it, tell us.
You want to do the Germans?
Yeah. And we're going to end on what is the scenario?
Germans stuck in the U.S.
Salesman.
After the Holocaust has come out.
Let's do it.
I forgot what the whole shit was. It was like, we are just innocent German investors. We have nothing to do with the genocide.
Well, I just want to be sure that we're not going to sully our corporation's brand by working with Nazis.
Nah, I'm done.
All right. See y'all later.